to have NFL Hall of Fame and writer Jon McClain on the show with all of what's been going on in a monstrous day in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, Seattle and Denver in the trade with Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson's maybe day in court coming up, and on top of that, the Cowboys restructure some contracts. What a day it's been, John. I know it's the day that all these things have to be decided, but golly, your thoughts about how you've kept up with it.
Well, it's been easy. Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay, certainly not a surprise. I've been saying that for 2 years. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Russell Wilson, I bet, gets a big new contract extension from the Broncos. They need to win the Super Bowl now. That division is loaded with great quarterbacks, and then there's Derek Carr, who's a good quarterback. And I'm thinking that Seattle, with Pete Carroll at 70, is not going to be rebuilding with Drew Lock. I think they could take that package and get Deshaun Watson. He's got the grand jury is going to hear evidence on Friday. The day his deposition starts, they'll decide whether to file charges or not. And if they don't, then the legal stuff could be cleared up, but you still have 22 civil suits accusing him of misconduct, sexual assault misconduct. So what he needs to do is what he should have done a long time ago, reach settlements with his accusers, and then he would be the most attractive quarterback on the market. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. Denver was one of them. Carolina, Washington, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Seattle. There's the Giants. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. And I guarantee you, the Texans would have taken this package for Watson. They would have had Drew Lock as a backup. They would have had a defensive lineman to put into the rotation. Then they would have had a number one pick 2 years ago, tight end Noah Fant, who would give them a second really good tight end. So maybe that's what the Seahawks have up their sleeve. And if they do get Watson, the NFC North will have a first-round pick on all four teams, including two, Arizona and the Rams, who have quarterbacks taken first overall. Any way you look at it, the AFC West and the NFC West, if the NFC West gets Watson, would have the best quarterbacks top to bottom.
With Watson, when the grand jury makes its decision, do you think that the league would just assume he's going to settle these civil suits and then move on him then, or does he have to settle the civil suits too if he's exonerated by the grand jury, which at this point is a coin flip?
And yes, and plus they can hear that testimony on Friday, and they may not make a decision on Friday. A week, 2 weeks, you never know. The wheels of justice turn so slow. We found this out because this has been going on for a year. And Watson, there's the feeling that if he had reached settlements, all the investigations would have gone away. But he didn't do it. Now the accusers know that his income has gone up from $10.54 million base salary last year to $35 million this year. So I'm guessing they'd say, hey, wait a minute, things have changed. We're not going to take what we were interested in taking last year. So I do think it'll be traded. It's just a matter of when and to whom.
John, going back to Russell Wilson, I mean, how much of a missing piece is he for that franchise?
When your quarterbacks are Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, he's a huge missing piece. 2 Super Bowls. He's got to feel rejuvenated. Seahawks didn't make the playoffs for the first time, I think, since he's been there. And he'll be 34. But the way guys are playing today, 40, I mean, Aaron Rodgers will be 39 this year. And they're giving him a 4-year extension. So quarterbacks, if they want to play till 40, they can do it. Drew Brees played till 40. Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers got close. So they could think that they're going to have Russell Wilson another 5 years. And I think when the time comes, if they don't win a Super Bowl, the fans and media in Denver will be very understanding, as will the fans and media in Green Bay. You do things to circumvent the salary cap that are legal to try to win now that can cause you serious problems down the road. And fans in those two cities are sophisticated enough to understand why they did it.
Does this make the desperation price for Jimmy Garoppolo go up now that Russell Wilson has moved and Aaron Rodgers is staying put?
Jimmy Garoppolo coming off major surgery to his throwing shoulder. I don't think so. I believe that any trade for Garoppolo is going to have to be a conditional pick. Say a team gives a 4, if he plays 16 games, it would be a 3 because you've got to worry about that. I mean, his throwing was suspect anyway, and now he's had major surgery. Maybe it'll help him throw better. But, I would think at best he'd be a third-round pick, no more.
So, John, you mentioned it a couple times there, and I know you didn't probably really have too many doubts about Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. There's now been some back and forth. He denied the numbers that were put out there originally, although we haven't had any information on what the numbers exactly look like. But I'm going to assume no surprise on your part, and just your thoughts on the fact that maybe this takes away some of the drama that's been lingering around Green Bay here recently.
Well, I think all the Packer fans I know, and they're the best in the country, I'm really happy for them. I'm happy for all my friends in the media up there. They don't every day have to wonder what's going to happen. Now they can start complaining about why Aaron Rodgers has only been to one Super Bowl and can he go to a second one. So there's all kind of issues that they can breathe a collective sigh of relief. I don't know why, after Ian Rappaport broke that story, why Rodgers would feel the need to tweet that it wasn't true, because we know it's going to happen. The deal wasn't signed, of course, but he's going to sign it. So everything will be so peaceful in Packerland, at least till they get to next season. And I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to do now to get his ego massaged, because he has a huge ego and he likes to be at the center of attention. Maybe he's going to have to go get another celebrity girlfriend.
Yeah,
he does seem to love drama or create it, and you wonder if even someone like that gets tired of it and needs a break from it.
Well, if he wanted to have a break from it, he certainly could. Last year, it was leaked to Adam Schefter. He wanted out. So that created all season of turmoil after he didn't get the money he wanted and on an extension. So now, he's created controversy all year. I think he's just a drama queen.
John, would you go get one of those cleanses that he got?
If I thought it would help me lose weight, yes, I would. But if I didn't, no, I'm not going to have forced vomiting, forced diarrhea, and bloodletting. And I'm wondering, when you're giving blood, is it like leeches in the medieval period, or do they actually do it the normal way?
John, there was about 10 teams out of the 32 that decided to use their franchise tags. I'm not going to run down the list, but you had guys like Orlando Brown and Cam Robinson and Devontae Adams, obviously. Was there anything that stuck out to you in regards to the franchise tag usage?
Only that the Chargers signed Mike Williams, their receiver, because they had the money to do it. So it was smart to do it. And teams will try to sign these guys to multi-year contracts that will lower those salary cap figures.
John, what a weekend. Confetti everywhere in the Farrell Center with both the men's and women's basketball teams as they head to Kansas City after winning the Big 12 title. Your thoughts about that as a Sikkim Hall of Fame leader of love?
Well, it was certainly outstanding for Baylor fans everywhere, and everybody takes so much pride in it. I'm really sorry that Scott Drew didn't get Big 12 Coach of the Year, but that's what happens when you get swept by Texas Tech. I think he's got a chance to be National Coach of the Year. If you looked at, he lost 4 starters and all the injuries he's had. I'm looking at next year's roster, and if Thamba comes back, Thamba's been better since Samuel Chachua went out. Somebody told Thamba, do not put the ball on the floor. We used to, during games, my friends and I, we would text each other, don't put the ball on the floor. He stopped, and he's played better than any time in his career, and I hope he comes back next year. He might be have a chance to play in the NBA, and I'm wondering, with Langston Moore back, all those guards, with Keontae George coming in, how is Scott Drew going to have enough playing time for all those players? But it's a great problem to have. And then down here at the baseball classic at Minute Maid Park, Baylor, Texas, Tennessee, and UCLA went 2-1, and Baylor was the only team to beat UCLA, and UCLA was declared the champion because it beat the Longhorns, and they had the biggest run differential. So it was a very productive baseball classic for the Bears as well. Just a great time all around to be a Baylor grad, unless you're trying to come to Waco and negotiate all the road work. I told a friend of mine I'm not coming back for 5 more years.
Well, it's not going to change. I mean,
I feel bad for you guys. When I look at that welcome center, I thought it was just going to be a little one-story building there. I didn't know what it was going to be. And maybe when they finally get the roads fixed, then they're going to start the basketball arena. I think I would stay on the other side of town.
You have traffic in Houston. You can't say that about Waco.
But see, Waco's in the escape. Like, you were supposed to come to Waco so you can get around without all this nonsense.
My Lord. Yeah,
it's like it would be like going to Hawaii and then there's no beach. I mean, that's
true.
At the Baylor Alumni Dinner last week when I was there on Friday, I stayed at the Marriott Courtyard downtown, and it took me what would have taken 5 minutes to get to the parking lot of the stadium, 30 minutes to get there. And I went in a route. I thought, well, as a Waco native, nobody else will be doing what I'm doing. Hell, everybody else was doing what I was doing, but I made it on time, and it was a great event to see a lot of Baylor Lions Foundation honoring a lot of alums. And it is. I take so much pride every time I come home to Waco. I hang out with my family, and I can't wait to the next Baylor event. And I can't wait for the tournament, Big 12 and the NCAA.
You got one?
Yeah, John, kind of a big combine for the Baylor players. I mean, you had Tyquan Thornton there. I know the combine's not the end-all, be-all. I realize that. But, I mean, in terms of free marketing for the football program and those guys getting some name recognition, Tyquan on Thursday night, then what Kalen Barnes ran on Sunday, JT Woods had a nice workout as well. Again, not the most important thing, but just your thoughts on what you saw from the Baylor guys at the combine.
JT Woods at safety ran a 4.36, and he's big. So only one school in the history of the combine has ever had 2 players crack a 4.3, and that would be those fighting Baylor Bears. It was a great time. They had, I think, 7 players there. Jalen Petrie didn't run the 40, but he worked out great. He's going in the second round. He'll be the highest drafted. I think Bernard will go in the 3rd round. And I'll tell you what, those fast guys may not be first or second day picks, but they certainly made some money with their speed. Unfortunately, the fastest of the fast seldom pan out. Chris Johnson, the running back for the Titans, only 1-1 in the 4.2s, unless you take Deion Sanders, who claims he ran in the 4.1s, but nobody else saw it.
Yeah, we've heard from Jalen Petrie, Tyquan Thornton, and Kalen Barnes since, I guess, last 2 days. They are just great. I bet they did amazing in the interviews as well because of the character it seems like they have. What a weekend. All the attention from Tyquan, then Kalen, JT, etc. And, John, thanks for your time.
That's great for recruiting, and if I could talk to those guys, I'd say, take them.
There you go. Jon McClain, Hall of Fame writer. Houston Chronicle. Waco native, went to Baylor, on with us, incredible NFL writer, and funny as hell when you watch him tweet sometimes as well. This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Paul Catalina's Top 5 is